I've been kind of going through this thing with you guys. Pat came in and talked about be present. Then we started talking about the process, right? Process goals. Then I listened to that podcast with Ty Williams. Raise your hand if you had a chance to listen to it. And then I was at dinner with Dashaun last night. And one of the things we talked about was being your own boss. Before everyone came in this room, raise your hand if you owned your own business. So for most of us, this is your first time being your own boss. Does everybody remember what Ashton Buswell said? Misty said, is this the way to put it? I'm like, I don't know if that's the way to put it, but that's what Ashton said. Don't be a shitty your own boss. Part of this is learning how to be your own boss. You're managing yourself, your time, your preoccupations, your goals, what you're doing, your family, your free time, your work time, right? Dashaun last night at dinner, he's like, it's crazy. We'll have somebody go to work for 8 hours at a normal job where they have to clock in, and then they want to get on doors, and they're like, I got 2 hours for you. And you're like, what? Well, I'm my own boss now. That's what my own boss says. So I wanted to focus in, again, on the process and the be present. So what caught me about Ty Williams, they went to a 20X team thing with the Navy SEALs. And Ty was there, and next to him was a big dude with muscles. Ty's a little dude, kind of surfer dude. Pick up these logs. It's BUDS training. 1 day of BUDS training for Navy SEALs for teams. And Ty's like looking at this dude, and he's like in his head. He's like, how can I hold this log with this dude? I'm going to drop the log. He's stronger. He's better. He's this. He's that. And he gets the log, and the SEALs are barking at him. Stop thinking about the log. Stop thinking about drop the log. And he says, what I said to myself was, quiet mind, strong heart. Stop thinking about the guy next to me and what's going to happen if I drop the log. Just quiet mind, strong heart. Just be fierce. Just be fierce in this moment. Don't get overwhelmed. And when that was over, there were 60 helmets up against the wall from guys who had spent their entire life trying to be a Navy SEAL. And in the first week, they rang the bell. These are top athletes, top performers. And he asked the guy, what was the difference between those helmets and those helmets, the ones that made it? He said, these guys are so overwhelmed with the entire program. They're thinking about the log. And then they're thinking, well, after the log, I got to go on a 25-mile run. And after the 25-mile run, I got to go sit in the ocean and hold people's hands like this for 3 hours. And then after that, I get to eat a scrap of food and I don't get to sleep. I can't handle it. This guy that made it, he's just thinking about the log. He's so involved in the moment and focused on the second. That's why I wanted to do this training. So, quiet mind, strong heart. How does this apply for us when we're in the moment? You're your own boss. Be a good your own boss. You are now in control of your present and your future. The only thing that will define you from your past is what you allow to do. It is scary. Why is this prevalent? This is scary. If you haven't done this or you don't know how to do this, it can be terrifying. If you don't know how to manage yourself, manage your life, manage your time, manage your preoccupations. What does that mean, preoccupations? Who's gotten preoccupied with life and not done the job? How much harder is that to do when you're sitting behind a desk and you're clocked in and somebody's waiting for you to finish something? You don't have time. You can't get preoccupied because you're under someone else's control. Here you're under your control. So you have to realize that you are in control of your present moment. And your present moment, what we do in these moments, is what's going to define our future moment. But if you get overwhelmed with your future moment, that's called anxiety, worrying about the future, what you can't control. It will destroy the present moment. This is an ecosystem of being your own boss. Being your own boss requires dedication, determination, and a relentless desire to be successful. It's scary. I love talking to top performers who have been in the industry for years. Last night, Dashaun was telling a story, and I'm not going to tell it, how he started, and it just rang so many bells for me. He's like, somebody comes to him, and they're like, you want to do this? And he's like, I can do that. And then he just goes. And then 3 years later, he's a completely different human being, right? But he had all of these characteristics. He was determined. He believed in himself. He was relentless, refused to quit, burned the boats, 100% commitment to the cause, to being his own boss. And I got news for you guys. We all start out being a shitty our own boss. Me included. I became a good my own boss by learning how to be my own boss, by going through pains, going through difficulties. Any entrepreneurship in any industry, with anything that you're going to do, whether you're starting a business in a kiosk in the mall or you're running your own door-to-door self-business, it takes all of these things to be a good, successful boss, especially to yourself. Quiet mind, strong heart. Create daily habits needed to get through a hard day successful. Guys, it takes 21 days to create a habit in yourself. I want you to think about the small things. So what is a process goal? What are the processes here? The main process, the main function. Hey, how you doing today? Good, man. My name's Lee. I'm out here with Legacy Power. So I'm working with your neighbor right down the street. That's the main function. That's the main revenue producing mechanism in this industry. It comes from here and here. Meaning if this is screwed up, this can get screwed up. And if this is screwed up, this thing gets screwed up. It starts to feel wobbly. I'm not knocking on the same kind of doors. I'm not the same human being, right? I want you guys to think about the daily habits that are needed. And those are not just the actual knocking on the door. You have to reverse engineer everything. What does it take for me to knock on the door, an olfactory anchor, and be the best human being that I can be in that moment with you, despite what's going on in my day? Because that's professionalism. Bad day yesterday, bad week, bad month, bad morning. Hey, how you doing today? My name's Lee. I'm out here with Legacy Power. Energy transfer, professional. What does it take for me to do that? It takes education. It takes persistence. It takes a dedication to becoming a professional, to being a good my own boss. Those are the processes behind the processes. People have a goal. I want to make 150,000. Okay, how are you going to do it? I don't know, just go knock some doors. Well, how many doors? What do you have to do to knock good doors? Go all the way back into what needs to happen to do the process well. Okay, stop obsessing on the big picture. It's too overwhelming. Take things 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. I live in this. I had a really bad week. It was bad. I checked out yesterday from like 8 in the morning until like 2 in the afternoon. I just completely shut down. Gone. I was over. I was on my knee. I was just like, I didn't want to talk, nothing. It happens to me too. And it comes from the big picture. This is going to happen. Is this going to? And I start playing chess with life in my mind, with imaginary pieces that I'm moving around that haven't happened yet. And it is overwhelming. Overwhelming. And I had to bring myself into reality. What is happening right now? Is everything okay right now? Is your daughter okay? Yep. Is your wife okay? Yes. Are the bills paid? Yes. Do you have running water? Yes. Are you healthy? Yes. Stop. Stop. It's the big picture. When it gets like that, you have to reset and bring yourself and be present. And so I loved when Pat said that because it really called into action, like living in the moment and living in the process. Because the goal, the big goal, overwhelms the process and you get caught up in it and it terrifies you and it sinks you, and that's what puts you into misaction or no action, and that's what messes up your knocker. Because your knocker is your heart and your mind. That's where it comes from, right? So be present, silence your mind, and have a strong heart. This is just some basic stuff, guys. This is the job. This is it. If you simplify, okay, now simple, but not easy. If you simplify the job, why is mindset before work ethic? It has to be. Who's had a bad mindset and it's affected and created a really bad work ethic? Yesterday, I had none. I couldn't go to work. I had emails and text messages. I texted 2 people on Zooms. I'm not coming. I don't want to see your face right now. It affected my mind and my spirit, affected my work ethic, right? But again, Chris Pierce, winners win because they do what winners do, and winners go inside their fundamentals and win from within. And by 2 o'clock, I checked back in, right? My mindset. So mindset, what is involved in that? Reverse engineer that. Content, podcasts, books, it's all down here. This is like the sales cycle. You have to do it all. But your mindset has to be straight. Then your work hours have to be straight. The amount of doors you're hitting. Who's worked 6 hours, but not really worked 6 hours? More like 3. Like you worked 6, but it was like an hour of TikTok, an hour and a half at Roberto's Tacos. Then you went to Hood, you had to go get gas. And then you were at the gas, and then there was some more TikTok. And then you got home, and you didn't really work, right? So it's like, what are you doing down there? This is something that Brian Tracy said in goals, and I want you guys to remember this. Your car should be a college. Your car's not just for rap music and whatever, right? Whatever else you listen to. I like rap music when I'm in the gym in a bad mood, and then I listen to chill radio when I'm going crazy. That's not all your car is for. Your car can be a college. Turn your car into a college. Podcasts, books on tape. You can do that for half an hour to an hour a day in each direction on the way home. I can't do any of this when I'm in Hood, but I can do it on the way to and from work. That's an hour of school, compounded by a week, compounded by a month, compounded by a year. You're a different human being. Use these times well, okay? And personal time, family, gym, anything that you need to do. You have to have all of those things in line. These are the basic mechanisms of being your own boss in this job. If this is off, this is off. Your family time is off. Who's had something going on in their family life, their personal life, and it has completely affected their mindset, and then their mindset completely affected their work ethic. And then when you are at work, what's it like? Hey, how are you? I'm Lee. Everybody hates me, so I don't really want to be here. Do you want to buy solar? You're a totally different human being, right? You're like, get out of here, the kick dog. So I want you guys to pay attention to this. Stop thinking about the big picture. Stop thinking about knocking doors next month. Stop not thinking about knocking doors next year. It will stop you from climbing the mountain. And if you don't climb the mountain, you'll never see the view. You will never see it. Get in the moment. Be present. The job can be hard. The job can be arduous. The job can be amazing. The job can be fruitful. The job can be whatever you make the job to be. If you are constantly overwhelming, who's done it? Who's overwhelmed themselves with even just the next month? Or even worse, the last month. Well, that month was bad. So for sure, this month has to be bad, right? You're predetermining your future by overwhelming yourself with anxieties. Get present. It was crazy because Ty's like, I'm going to share this and it's a little embarrassing. My mantra was quiet mind, strong heart. And I'm like, that's not embarrassing, that's money. It's one of the best things I've ever heard. When you want to flake out on yourself, when you want to get rid of your strength, quiet mind, strong heart. Quiet mind, strong heart. Next door, next door, next door, next door. Today's doors only. Be the best I can be today. Only today. Right? Dashaun, I've been watching him on Instagram for a while. I absolutely love his content. He's in roofs. He's a door knocker, roofs, a salesman in roofs. He's a sales trainer. I just learned he has a few really amazing certifications in sales training. What I love about Dashaun's energy is he's the kind of person that I want to be around. He's the kind of content that I want to take in. We all are on the same, it doesn't matter if you're in bugs or alarms or in roofs, right? Roofs are, I think, equally similar to solar. You got to be a beast. But when you're on the battleground in this, I love and have respect for you. And then when you learn how to become another level human being and help magnify yourself by helping other human beings, that's what I really love. So thank you, Dashaun, for coming in. Welcome.
So I'm assuming everybody's goal in here is to make a lot of money. And when I say a lot of money, I don't mean like 100,000. I mean like $250,000, 300, like $500,000. That's everybody's goal in here, right? Like somewhere around there, correct? Yes. Yeah. All right. So I just want to let y'all know a little secret, right? If your goal is to make big money in life, you need big energy, right? Big money, big success is attracted to big energy. Right? I just asked all y'all how y'all doing this month, and everybody said good. Right? I want to let y'all know a little secret. That was a habitual answer. You didn't even really think about that. You just said, I'm good. And I want to let you know, nobody want to hang around somebody doing good. At least I don't. I'm just being real. I want to hang around the people that's doing great. I want to hang around the people that's doing phenomenal, the people that's doing extraordinary, right? So from this day moving forward, I just challenge y'all. Next time somebody asks you how you doing, say, I'm amazing. I'm stupendous. I'm sensational, right? And watch how I change the energy around you. I was in Starbucks, and the girl was like, how you doing this morning? I'm like, I'm amazing. She said, I want to be that. I'm like, you can be that anytime you want to. It's just a decision, right? So I just challenge y'all from this day moving forward. Stop telling people you good. Stop telling people you living a dream if you're really not. Stop telling people you all right, because then that gives them permission to be like, oh, yeah, I'm all right, too. No, a low energy source can never power a high energy source, but a high energy source can always bring up a low energy source. So when you're doing amazing, everybody else around you want to do amazing, right? So I just challenge y'all that, like, moving forward, just change the way you respond to people and just watch how it shifts the energy around you. Next time you go on a flight, say that when you're checking in, say that to them. I'm phenomenal, and watch how they look at you. Different than everybody else, I promise you. They're going to be like, dang, I like that guy. I like that guy, right? So I challenge y'all that, right? So my name is Dashaun. I want to teach y'all a few things today. I get going, and I got to reel all this stuff back in, you know what I mean? So I'm going to teach y'all a few things today because I love to teach. Like, I believe I'm just following my calling, right? You know what I mean? I didn't do this for money. Money just followed it. But I did this because I really love to do it. So my name is Dashaun. I'm assuming who've been doing this for at least 5 years? Love it, too. Everybody who been doing it for like 2 years? 2. Everybody else a year and like between like fresh and like a year? Hey, welcome to the jungle, baby. I love it, right? That's what we call it. I tell everybody there's 2 types of lions out here, right? You got African lions and you got zoo lions. What's the difference? A zoo lion is a sales rep that wake up and they stretch, right? And then they walk to the gate and they say, you got a lead for me? You got any leads, please? Can I have some leads? And then if they don't got no leads, they just go back and they lay down, or they go back to their house, or they find nothing to do, right? And then you got an African lion, right? That's that type of salesman that wake up every day and they just go hunt because that's how they wired as a human being, right? You know the crazy thing about it? African lions, zoo lions get fed every day. African lions don't eat every day. But if you look at an African lion, they look way better than a zoo lion. Zoo lions, you can usually see their ribs. Like you go to the zoo, you can usually see their ribs. Why? Because the thing that makes a lion great, it ain't the kill, it's the thrill. It's like waking up and chasing that gazelle every day. That's where you build the mental toughness. That's where you build the resiliency. That's where you build the mental fortitude to stay into this thing for like 7 years, right? So I challenge y'all. And also, the reason why I'm a firm believer on door knocking is I never like a company control my destiny. Like, I would hate for Lee not to like me one day. He said, you don't get no leads today, big dog. And you're like, dang, now I got to figure it out, right? I always tell people, all I need is a polo. That's all I need. Give me a shirt. It don't matter to me. I'm going to go generate my own business all the time. So I highly encourage you embrace that mindset of like an African lion where you wake up and you hunt every day. And if you study lions, the crazy thing about them, they won't eat an injured gazelle. Like, go study them. They won't eat an injured gazelle. Why? They didn't kill it. Like, they didn't get the luxury of chasing it down and hunting it, so they won't eat it. That's what hyenas do. That's what vultures do. They wait for other people to kill and they go eat. Lions ain't built like that. So go study it, right? I'm big on the animal kingdom because it's the only thing in this universe that can't change. Humans blessed, right? We can make a decision any day we want to just change. But lions, they got to eat meat and chase for the rest of their life. They can't say I'm vegan. You know what I mean? I'm vegan now, bro. I'm just done with this, right? You know what I mean? That's the beauty of the animal kingdom. It's wired a certain type of way. So it show you how life really supposed to go, right? So let me tell y'all a little bit about who I am, and I'm going to teach y'all a few things today because I'm going to give y'all some mindset. I'm big on mindset. I'm a firm believer. Once you get your mind right, you can get your grind right, right? The reason why your grind won't peak because your mind weak. And most people get into this thing, and like Lee was saying, everybody work on the work ethic and all of this stuff. And I learned early. I was like, I just got to get my mind right. Like, I don't believe I'm the best trainer than a lot of these people in the industry or like the best door-to-door salesman. I believe I'm the smoothest, but I don't believe I'm the best door-to-door salesman. But I'm like, I just out-minded everybody else. I was just mentally stronger than all the people that got into the industry with me, and that's why I'm still here and they not. Right? So my name is Dashaun. I've been in the door-to-door roofing industry. It'll be 8 years in February, actually. Got into this industry by mistake. Anybody, friends or family, brought them into the industry? Yeah. Make sure you tell them thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Because this industry changed my life, and I'm pretty sure it's doing the same thing to yours. Never in my 32 years of living, you could have told me at 18 years old I'd be knocking doors and making the money that I make. Like, I would have laughed at that, right? I thought you go the corporate route. Like, you know what I mean? Get a job at Publix or a grocery store, and you work your way up, and now you living life, right? And I learned, like, it ain't the route to go. So I'm at a bar chilling, my best friend, and he was his really good friend. I've always been blessed with the ability to just talk to anybody, vibe with anybody. And he's like, man, I got a job I think you'd be great at. I said, I'm down. I ain't even asking what it was. I just said I'm down, right? Turns out it's door-to-door sales, and I'm like, you telling me I just got to go around and talk to people? I used to get in trouble for talking to people. Now I just get to talk to people, I'm game, right? So they bring me in for an interview. They give me a script, tell me to go home and memorize it, come back the next day. God take me out for 2 days, and after that, he told me I got it. Anybody else experience anything like that? Or y'all get, I don't know. Some people do, right? Some people get high-level training. Some people get that, hey, baby, go figure it out, right? So they threw me out there 2 days. My first week, I closed 4 deals, and I realized I was either home or this was too easy. And I realized I was home. Why? Because this ain't easy, right? You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people who have been here for a while, you know, people come and go, right? They come and go because everybody want it. They just don't want it, right? No, I want, no, you don't. You just say it because it sounds good, right? You don't really want it. So the guy that brought me into the industry, he said, you're going to be my trainer. I said, no, not your boy. I just want to sell and mind my business, right? I'll always encourage people, if you want your skill set to excel, start training people. Why? Because when you're training people, you can't cut corners. When you're training people, somebody watching you got to show them what success like. When you by yourself, you go home early. There's a difference. I tell people that once you start training people, you're going to go to a whole new level, right? So the guy that brought me in, he said, you're going to be my trainer, and I didn't believe him. And the reason why I like to share that part of the story, when somebody sees something in you that you can't see in yourself, you got to believe it. A lot of y'all fight that. Nah, that ain't me. Nah, no, just accept it. Just say thank you. I couldn't see that, but I'm glad you saw it, right? So I'm knocking doors. I'm about 2 years into the industry. I meet this homeowner. I sell him. He's like, damn, man, you good. Who your coaches? Who your mentors? I'm like, nobody. This guy giving talent. I don't get down like that, right? I don't idolize no man. He's like, do me a huge favor, man. Go home, look up this guy named Grant Cardone. Everybody know who Uncle G is, right? Who don't know who he is? You don't? You need to write that name down, right? You know what I mean? So I go home, look up Uncle G, right? Go from 30 minutes to like 3 hours. If I had hair, it'd have been standing up on my head, right? So I come out the garage. My kids, the mom looking at me. I'm like, we don't got a money problem. We got an income problem. And she like looking at me like I'm crazy. And he said one thing that changed my life. He said every industry got a gap in it. If you can fill the gap, you'll make a lot of money. And it just clicked in my head. The roofing industry suck at training. Because I was like, I can't be the only guy that took out 2 days and told, go figure it out. So I'm not a very detailed guy, so I just do stuff, right? And I figure it out as I go. So I came up with the idea on Tuesday, wrote it out on Wednesday. We was recording by Thursday, right? We was already in the studio on Thursday, and I decided to create a YouTube channel to where I do coaching and training for free. That way, anybody that get into the industry after me never have to struggle and go through none of the challenges that I went through. So we created Roof Hustlers in 2017. Spoke to my first roofing company in 2018. They gave me like $300 in like gift cards. I was geeked, right? You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Somebody paid me? So we kept building momentum. 2020, I trained 10 companies. 2021, I trained 30 companies. And this year right now in 2022, I'm already at like 26 companies for the year. So we're doing pretty good. Y'all know who GAF is? Thank you. So GAF is the #1 shingle manufacturer in the nation, and I'm actually one of their certified trainers as well. So I gotta deal with them. So we're doing some pretty amazing stuff, man. By the graces of God, I always say I do the sowing, he do the growing, right? You know what I mean? I don't take no credit for none of this stuff. You know what I mean? He the one that allowed me to be where I'm at. So like I said, I want to show y'all a few things today. I hope this chair ain't gonna bother your camera, man. I don't got no stool, so I'm just gonna put this right here, right? So like I said, I'm big on mindset. So I want to show y'all I just want to give y'all some thought process, right? First of all, but I just want to share something with y'all because people ask me, man, what's the biggest struggle when you go around the country and train people, right? Like what really stop people from tapping into that next level, like being as good as they can be? And people like, what is it? Lack of work ethic? Like what? Like they say all types of stuff. I say, nah, you know what the biggest problem is when I train people? Maturity. Most people not mature enough. Like most people are so immature that they don't possess the qualities and traits and the characteristics to go to that next level, right? Lee, a grown man. You know how hard it is? I don't know if y'all know. You know how hard it is to train grown people? Like I just want y'all to think. Kids is easy. Why? They don't got nothing to battle you on. They like, bet, whatever you do, I do. Right? You know what I mean? My daughter, she work out, she do what I do. You know what I mean? They just follow my lead. Adults, they like, nah, I got this. I don't need your help, right? So maturity is the biggest thing that I deal with, right? So I just want to let y'all know, if you can improve your maturity, right, you can improve your growth. Because right now, your biggest issue, it isn't that you don't knock enough doors. It isn't that you're not smart enough. It isn't that you don't got the skill set. It's you in your own way. Like, you too immature, believe it or not. Y'all like, what, you calling me immature? Nah, I'm telling you. Most people immature. Just because you're 32 don't mean you mature. Just because you're 40 don't mean you mature. Y'all got some people in your lives that still do the same things they did when they was 20? Like, y'all got some friends like that? Yeah, lack of immaturity, right? So it's 3 keys to maturity, and if you can embrace these 3 keys, I guarantee you can tap into that next level, right? So the first key to maturity is obedience. Obedience, right? What obedience mean? It means compliance to an order with gladness, right? Compliance to an order with gladness. What's the key word in that sentence? Gladness, right? Right? Y'all don't knock doors with gladness. You don't like show up every day, do what you're supposed to do with gladness. You do it just to go through the motions, and that's why you're missing the lessons and the blessings and stuff, right? Understand, one man's obedience is tied to so other many men's destinies, right? One man being obedient to his calling is tied to so many other people's destinies, right? Like, I got the calling about roof hustle, so I created this thing, and now it's a group of people that's in the roofing industry that wouldn't be in the industry if I wasn't obedient. And I'm a very transparent person. Let's just be 100. It's a group of black people that's in the industry that wouldn't be in the industry if I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I'm just being real, because y'all know, like I know, when you see somebody that look like you like, I can do that. But when it's a bunch of people that don't look like you just like, I don't know if that's for me. I'm just being real, right? So you got to be obedient, right? What Lee got to be obedient to somebody. You think he just do what he want to do? No. His maturity is why where he's at. Right? So compliance to an order with gladness, right? The second key to maturity is you got to be submissive. You know how hard it is to get a grown man to submit to another grown man? I'm just being real. Like, it's difficult, right? And then most men want their women to submit to them, right? But they're not even submitting to another man that can help them tap into that next level, right? So you got to be submissive. What submissive mean? The fact of accepting or yielding to a force with excitement and enthusiasm. So the fact of accepting or yielding to a force with excitement and enthusiasm. If I wasn't obedient, if I wasn't submissive, I wouldn't even be where I'm at. Why? Because the guy that brought me into the industry, he forced me to train. I didn't want to do it. He was like, you go. I'm like, nah, I don't really. So what he did was he just went out of town one weekend. He said, hey, I ain't here. Can you run the orientation? And I'm like, that don't sound like I got an option, bro. You like just kind of making me do it, right? So if I wasn't submissive to that guy, I wouldn't be where I'm at, right? And what's the issue with submissive? Because you can be compliant but not submissive. What's the difference? We all grown adults in her life. You remember when your mom used to ask you to like wash the dishes and you just did it so she leave you alone? Like, you know what I mean? You just do stuff so people can leave. All right, well, Lee, like, you need to be working 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. You're like, what up, man? I'll go out there and just do it so you can leave me alone. Like, you don't do it with the excitement and the enthusiasm, because that's when the lessons and the blessings come. When you show up on the doors with great energy, looking for the people that's looking for you, you find them. When you show up on the door saying, I'm going to do this shit so Lee can leave me alone, you get nothing out of it. And some of y'all issue is, right, you need to be the best you for you, not for Lee. Not for your kids, not for your husband. And y'all like, what? Not for my kids, not for my... No, be the best you for you. Why? Because when you start doing things for other people and they don't validate you the way you want to be validated, you stop doing things. You know what I mean? You're going to bring your wife flowers. You bring her flowers like 5 days, and she ain't telling you thank you. You're like, well, she don't appreciate nothing. You just going to stop bringing the flowers. Like, you was bringing the flowers for the validation, or was you bringing the flowers because you just wanted to show how awesome of a man you was? Right? So y'all need to be the best you for you. So you need to bring that excitement, that enthusiasm to the doors for you, not for Lee. You should be closed. I've never closed a deal for my boss. I just want to be 100. I ain't never closed a deal for him. I never cared if he told me good job or not. I never have. I got 2 little babies that I look at every day. Them the only people that I'm geeked up that tell me I do a great job. I don't care about no other adults. I love them, but I don't live my life for them. So you got to be the best you for you. Stop being compliant so somebody leave you alone. Just go be submissive, bring the excitement, bring the enthusiasm, so that way when you on the doors, people can feel it. I want to let you know, people can sense somebody that don't want to be at their job. You ever been to a restaurant and dude serving you and you just like, damn, he don't want to be here. Like, my boy don't want to bring me no water. He don't want to do nothing. We all, the homeowners can sense that. They're looking at you like, boy, you need to go home. You know what I mean? So you got to be submissive. And this the one that really help you tap into that next level. Acquiesce. What does acquiesce mean? To reluctantly accept a thing without protest. To reluctantly accept a thing without protest. So what do I mean by that? You hesitant to do what somebody else wants you to do, but you accept it without the protest, right? You just do it. So the biggest issue is Lee and certain other people are going to be telling you things that's counterintuitive to your way of thinking. But a lot of y'all got confirmation bias. Y'all know what confirmation bias is? You think your idea is always right. You think your way of doing things is always the right way to do things. And I always tell people, I say, if you're not living the life that you want to live, you're not making the money that you want to make, you don't have the freedom that you desire, why are you so caught up on how you do things? I'm just being like, why are you so caught up? It ain't got you to where you want to be, but you still bought into it. You feel? Let's just be 100. It's Dane, right? Yeah. I'm good at remembering names. Y'all know what y'all usually say? I'm bad at remembering names. Change the story, right? You know what I mean? But you got to have that acquiesce. You got to be mature enough to know, like, hey, that might not be how I would do it, but I'm open into doing it that way. I got a coach that make me say my mantra 32 times to him on a Zoom camera. After the 10th one, I'm like, bro, again, man, I need some more rhythm. I'm like, all right, well, and I just keep doing it. Why? Because I'm obedient, I'm submissive, and I'm aqueous. I realize that my way of doing things ain't always the right way. So once you tap into these 3 keys, I promise you, your game gonna go to a whole new level. Because some of y'all, you bought into the idea, but you still ain't obedient and submissive. Or one of y'all obedient, you submissive, but you like, man, that's just how Lee do it. I ain't gonna do it that way. I always tell people, I figured out how to make money at a high level. I'm just trying to show you. You can keep living your life that you want to. It don't bother me. You got to pay them bills, not me. You know what I mean? Like, your stuff's short, not mine. So I highly encourage you, if you're not living the life that you want to live, improve your maturity, man. It ain't a work ethic thing. It ain't a skill set. It's a you set. Get you right. Be ready to receive. And like it's a famous saying, right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. We all done heard that before. When the student ready, the teacher will appear. So what that means, when you mature enough, you'll turn into Daniel's son. Right? You know what I mean? But y'all ain't there yet, right? Well, I don't want to say y'all not there yet, but a lot of people struggling with some of these things, right? So 3 keys of maturity. Help you tap into that next level. One thing I need y'all to also start doing, let me ask y'all a question. Who in here, you got to start investing, right? You got to start investing in yourself. Who hasn't read a book yet this year? Who has? Oh, yeah, Lee made y'all read it, didn't he? Yeah, I already know. I watch Lee videos. I'm like, bet. He lead his team good. The real question is, can you keep it up? Can you do it on your own? Right? I heard something that changed my life. They said the average millionaire read 30 to 40 books a year. They attend 4 to 5 conferences a year. I said, bet. Like, I'm a man. I'm black and white, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm very logical. I said, if that's what the average millionaire do, I'm going to do the same thing. And I done had a book in my hand for the last 5 years, at least 2 to 3 a month. Right now, I'm reading a book called Effective Communication. It's fire, right? And for all my men, it's this great book called The Warrior, the Magician, and the Lover. It's a book on going from immature man to mature man. It is a really good read for my men in here, right? But you got to start investing. Why? Because this is the best bank in America, the bank of you. You're going to get the biggest return from investing into yourself, right? Anybody know who Coach Michael Burt. His name Coach Michael Burt. Anybody ever heard of him? You know him? Love it? You know him, right? So let me show y'all something real quick before I keep going. Anybody know what your 2 biggest expenses in your life is? 2 biggest expenses. Oh, family, house. Yep, love it. The men, y'all must not be dating, huh? Because somebody usually say women. Somebody usually say women expensive, right? You know what I mean? Because they is pricey, right? You know what I mean? Especially since this new day and era, Instagram got every woman thinking they should be traveling and like living life, and you better have the money too. You know what I mean? Right? So you said family, you said cars. Anybody got anything else? Your biggest expenses in your life? Some people say food sometimes, you know what I mean? Right? Love it. No right or wrong answer. What you said? Self? I love that, right? So your second biggest expense in your life is taxes, right? You get taxed up $50 on every $100, $500 on every $1,000. Like they sales tax, capital gain tax. You die, they got death tax. You got tax everywhere. It's crazy, right? I don't mean to go there, but I don't know if anybody ever been to jail. They charge you to go to jail, and you don't even want to go there. I'm just saying, you get your little ticket back. I mean, I got caught driving without a license one time. You get your ticket back and say $25 jail fee. I'm like, what? So they always taxing you, right? You get taxed on everything. You know what your biggest expense in your life is? What you don't know, right? I don't know if y'all ever heard that famous saying. They say, what you don't know what? Won't hurt you, right? That's a lie. What you don't know will keep you broke. I'm just being real with you. What you don't know will keep you at a medium income. What you don't know will have you hang around with the same friends, right? So I highly encourage y'all start focusing on the things that you don't know. Get up off of what you do know. Because what you do know done got you this far, right? That's why I say you should write that name down. It wasn't like a pun against you. But it's like when somebody tell me stuff that I don't know, I haven't heard, I'm geeked. I'm like, wow, let me hear this. I'm always trying to get in rooms where I'm not the smartest. I'm always trying to hang around people that challenge me and bring the best out of me, right? I paid $5,000 to go to a 2-day coaching conference. 2 days. Off that $5,000 I spent on 2 days, I made $40,000 in 2 days. $40,000 in 2 days off some information that I learned, right? And anytime you go to these events, right, Lee should never invest more into y'all than you invest into yourself. You should out-invest him. I'm dead serious. Whatever he pour into you, you should give him that back tenfold and then come back with some value that he hasn't heard yet. Yeah, bless you, Gary. Yeah, that's a pretty sneeze. I like that. Yeah, that was delicate. I like that, right? So you got to invest into yourself. You got to read the books. You got to attend the conferences. People think conferences hocus pocus. They're like, man, I ain't going to these conferences. It's just a bunch of, yeah. You want to hang around other high-level people, and anytime you go there, go VIP. Why do you go VIP? Because that's where all the world shakers and the money makers at. The people that's making a difference in life, in VIP, right? So your biggest expense is what you don't know. So let's say your goal is to make $1 million in a year. And that should be your goal. Why do you think your goal should be to make $1 million in a year? Somebody tell me. Why do you think your goal should be to make $1 million in a year? All right, hold on. Let me ask you. So anybody know what the best type of energy in the classroom is? The best type of energy. What's your name, by the way?
Wendy.
Miss Wendy? Love it. What's the best type of energy in the classroom? Big energy. You learn fast. I like it. Big energy. Anybody got anything else? High energy. I'm going to just save y'all some time. Best type of energy in the classroom? Participation energy. Those who participate learn better.
Well, I'm just not answering to the million because I don't know why you set the bar so low.
Oh, I like that, Miss Wendy. You the first one that done said that to me. I like that. All right, I love it. So we gonna keep it here for the people that ain't there yet, but I like that, right? We gonna go multi-million, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna play your game, Miss Wendy. Let's say your goal should be to make $11 million in a year, right? Why do you think that should be your goal? Why? Somebody tell me why.
The person you're gonna become making that money.
Ooh, what's your name? Joey. Great answer, Joey. I love that. The person you're gonna become making that money. Anybody got anything else for me? You're still at least at $6 million, right? I'm going to tell you one reason. I'm going to tell you, the only reason why your goal should be to make $1 million or $11 million in a year is because you can. I know that's a simple reason. It's because you can. You're in the best country in the world. I'm not saying it's the most fair. I'm not saying none of those things. I'm not contesting that because you can nickel and dime and nitpick it all you want to. But this is the only country where you could just wake up and start a business. I'm telling you, I meet people from third world countries. You can't do that over there. Why do you think they're here? You know the only people that don't take advantage of America? Americans. I've never seen a homeless Asian person. I've never seen a homeless Indian. I'm saying, challenge me on it. Tell me where you seen them at. I ain't never seen one. I see homeless black people, homeless white people all the time. My kid's grandma, she Cambodian. She survived the Cambodian genocide, right? Came over here. She was married for 25 years, right? She didn't work, right? They got a divorce. She got divorced. She started 2 new businesses, bought a house by the lake, built it up to her how she liked it, bought a boat, bought a kayak, bought everything she wanted. Now she retired, and all she do is chill with her grandbabies and take care of her tortoises. From Cambodia. I know people in America, my mama, love her to death. My mom, nothing bad to say about my mama. But she's been in the same field, working the same job, and she hasn't elevated her life since. Why? Because to her, that's normal. But my kid's the mom, she know that when you go back home, you can't do that. You can't do it. When she go back to Cambodia, all she bring is toiletries. She don't even pack clothes to go. She bring everything that she can give back to them. So I highly encourage y'all, start taking advantage of this amazing country that you live in. Right? Legacy done did 75% of the work for you. The reviews ain't yours. I'm just saying, right? You don't got to install them. All you got to do is learn, be coachable, be a student, and then go execute. And then go make the money that doctors and lawyers make, right? We a roofer, and I tell people the reason why we make the money that doctors and lawyers make because we deal with the 2 biggest fears in America, public speaking and heights. People would rather get ate by a shark than talk in front of people. Do the research, right? I don't make this stuff up, I promise you. Do your research. Most people would rather get ate by a shark than get up in front of a group like this and speak to other people. People just clam up like they can't do this. And heights is just, y'all know how heights go. That's why we get paid like doctors and lawyers, because we deal with the two biggest fears in America. Y'all don't deal with the heights because y'all don't got to climb roofs, but y'all still do it the public speaking. All right? So let's say $1 million in a year, right? And let's just say you make $200,000, right? Usually I do easy math, but Miss Wendy over here want to mess up my math talking about big money, right? So I'm going to go back to my easy math, Miss Wendy. So that leaves you with $800,000, right, that you haven't figured out how to make yet. And you're going to do one or two things. You're either going to pay life that or you're going to pay a coach. So you can keep paying life $800,000 a year. Or you could take that money, go pay somebody else, right? Have them teach you the things that you don't know and start elevating your life. So you really got to start investing. I should see all y'all at Door-to-Door Con 5 and Lee better not pay for now one of y'all tickets. I'm just being real. You should buy your own ticket, because those who are afraid to pay are afraid to charge. If you've never spent 10 grand on yourself, there's no way you're looking at a homeowner and expecting them to have $15,000, $30,000 in their pocket. You're like, I ain't never spent that type of money. I know they don't got that type of money. Nah, but when you spend $10,000 on yourself, you can look at somebody and they say, how much you charge to come out of training, Dashaun? $15,000 for the weekend, but we're going up to 20, so I hope you take advantage of it. What you want to do? But before I spend that type of money, I'm looking at a company like, $10,000, oh man. So you got to invest, right? You got to start spending money on you, and then it start giving you a big return, right? Also, you got to be mindful, right? What Lee just did in the beginning, right? He did the jump up, right? The jump thing, energy, right? Because that's all life is energy, right? It's neither created nor destroyed. It's not created or destroyed. It's only transferred, right? It's always here. Right? It's always here. You can't create energy. You either transferring it or receiving it, right? Giving it or receiving it. So what he did was powerful. He had y'all saying, hey, I'm grateful. You know what I mean? I'm working on becoming the person that I want to be, right? I want y'all to be mindful of this. Do you spend more time talking to yourself, or do you spend more time listening to yourself? You don't need to answer that. I just want you to think about that. Do you spend more time talking to yourself, or do you spend more time listening to yourself? And I want to let you know, no matter the story you're telling yourself, you will believe it. Like, you will sell yourself on it too, right? So understand, 60 to 85% of your thoughts are negative, naturally negative, right? 80 to 90% of those thoughts are repeated. So you got negative thoughts, right? Then you repeating the negative thoughts, right? Constantly, right? So like, do you spend more time talking, or do you spend more time listening, right? So 20 to 22 hours of your day is unconscious thoughts. Only 2 to 4 hours of your day is conscious thoughts. So I like to ask people, what are you telling yourself in those 2 to 4 hours a day? Like, some people think what Lee did was cheesy. I'm over here like, I'm geeked. Why? Because I do it every day. It's a secret in success, right? Success leaves clues. But the immature person say, nah, that don't work. I'm going to do it my way. That blow my mind. I say, no. You don't got to reinvent the wheel. You just make it better. That's all you do. Some of the stuff I say, some of the stuff Lee say, it ain't new. But you know, the difference is y'all ain't did the homework to go find out where it's coming from. So it sound good when it come from me and Lee. They like, man, God dang, where you get that from? That's all it is. I'm just telling you, that's all it is, right? So 2 to 4 hours of your day is conscious thoughts. What are you saying, right? So I got a few mantras that I live by. One, when I'm in the field, I say, young homeowners are eager to talk to me. They like my vibe. They want to join my tribe. Business booming so much, I can't stop them from getting inspections. And when we get inspections, we're going to get the roof bought. I say that like 5-6 times a day. Every time I'm out there knocking doors. Y'all out there like, man, it ain't nobody out here. Man, they don't want my help. There's been a bunch of people in this neighborhood already. Man, they got so, man, that's the story you saying all day while you knocking. And then it's so much easier to say, well, we might as well go home. I'm just saying, after you done sold yourself on that story, how can you even switch the story to keep knocking? I get in the neighborhood, I say, somebody looking for me, man. I just got to find them. People be like, man, it's a bad day. I wanted to say that to Lee. It's like, I tell people I don't have bad days. I have bad moments. It's a great day. Why? Because I'm here. So I got my other mantra, right? My other mantra go, I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, and dangerous. I'm a pro. Every day I'm taking steps to move my family forward, changing lives everywhere I go, making connections to get keys to open new doors. I'm a millionaire. Now I got to say multi-millionaire, because I feel like Miss Wendy going to see me somewhere, and she's going to be like, you still a millionaire? You ain't a multi-millionaire, right? So I'm a multi-millionaire, right? I like that, Ms. Wendy. So I want to break that down for y'all, and then I'm going to show y'all one more principle, and then I'm done, right? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down, though? Yes. Yeah. I want to let you know, right? Lee can't want this more for you than you want it for yourself. I always tell people, don't tell me you want to make $200,000, and I got to remind you how many doors you need to knock. You don't want it. You just say it because it sounds good. Man, you know what? People get high off their own words. I'm being for real. You high off the idea. Get high off the execution. Get high off the execution. You done said something. Roman and Dane talk, man, we going to kill it this week. We're going to do 6 days a week, 6 hours. Let's go. Sunday hit. Monday hit. And they like, man, that's 2 hours, man. This feel good, right? Because you got high off the idea. I tell people, get high off your execution. Get high off your results. You know what I mean? Like, when I first started Roof Hustlers, people was looking at me crazy. They're like, what? My cousin can tell you. They're like, bro, you teaching roofing and stuff? I said, just wait. We're going to take over the industry. Now I'm one of the most sought out trainers in the roofing industry, and they pay me big bucks, and I'm about to up the price on them. Right? So I'm going to break that down for y'all. So I'm happy. What do I mean by that? I'm just geeked to be here. Like, every day I wake up, people ask me, man, you always positive. No, I'm aware. What do I mean by that? I know I ain't wake myself up. So the fact that I'm here and I got another day to be great, I love it. I got a homie 28 years old. He could tell you where we come from. One of our really good friends, his brother got shot 19 years old in a drive-by. We got a homie we went to high school with, sleep in his grandma's house, got shot in his head. I'm blessed. Like, I'm here. I'm 32. Where I come from, they just hope to make it to 25. We made it to 32, so I'm happy, healthy. What do I mean by healthy? Yeah, I work out. I'm letting you know, when you make money, it's kind of hard to eat clean, so I eat pretty decent. But you know what I mean? Like, I ain't turning down the steaks and stuff, right? So what do I mean by healthy, though? I go to therapy 2 times a month. Why? Because you got to deal with that childhood trauma that you letting ruin your relationships, messing up your cells, you self-sabotaging. You're not dealing with that. Go get. It ain't nothing wrong with going to therapy. You go to therapy to be proactive. It ain't because something wrong with you. And if you want to be honest, something wrong with all of us, right? Let's just be 100, right? So I'm happy, healthy, wealthy. What do I mean by wealthy? I don't necessarily mean money. I mean, sometimes the wealth is the rich relationships you got in your life, right? Like, when you down and out and you can call some people and you can just go hang out with them and you feel better, you wealthy. You do the research. Single men who have heart attacks, they die sooner than dudes that come from a big family. That's why you need a community. Right? So I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, focused. If it don't got nothing to do with the brand or excelling the brand or making money, it can't get none of my attention. What is focus? An unwavering intention to accomplish something. My cousin can tell you, if we ain't getting money, bro, like, I'm good. I don't want to hang out with people no more unless we getting money or we figuring out new ways to get rich. I'm not a material person, but I got 2 babies that I need to leave some stuff for. All right? So I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, and dangerous. Dangerous just means I live my life on offense. You can't save yourself the wealth. I just want y'all to know that, right? You have to be dangerous in your life. And that's the attitude I wake up every day with. I'm just dangerous. People are like, man, I don't know what that means. I'm like, me neither, but I'm just dangerous. You know what I mean? Anywhere I go, I'm trying to dominate and be the best. Like, if we, Lord forbid, we down the plane crash home, and y'all the last people I talk to, I just want y'all to be like, man, that little 45 minutes we had with him, I was impressed. That's how I get down, right? I just want to be the best version of me everywhere I go, right? So I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, and dangerous. I'm a pro. You got to make a decision to go pro. There's too many amateurs in this league. Everybody love to say, man, it's a lot of competition. I say it's a bunch of amateurs. That's all it is. It's a bunch of amateurs. Y'all know, like I know, you got solar bros and then you got solar pros. So I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You got cats that just come out here and just tell you anything to get a deal. Then you got people that properly educate and equip their homeowners to make the best decision to buy back their energy for the years to come. Right? So what does being a pro mean? A lot of people think that means taking care of their homeowners, showing up, customer service. No, a pro, Joe Paterno said, you have to consistently outperform other people on a consistent basis. Being a pro has nothing to do with getting paid for your services. That changed my whole mindset. I'm like, bet, being a pro just means I just show up and whoop everybody else. Yeah, I give good customer service. I still take care of my homeowners, but I'm a pro. What's the difference between pro and amateur? Amateurs spend more time doing the thing they love to do. Pros spend more time doing the things they need to do. Amateurs derive from the Latin word amor. The word amor means love to. And a lot of amateurs, what they love to do, close deals and collect checks. What they don't like to do, knock doors, follow up. You know what I mean? They don't like to do the stuff they need to do. So make a decision to go pro, right? So I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, and dangerous. I'm a pro. Every day I'm taking steps to move my family forward. Every day I'm trying to close a deal. My son's 7 years old. He want to knock doors. At 7. Why? Because he think that's how you make money. You know what I mean? He like, daddy got money. That must be how you make money, right? You know what I mean? So every day I'm taking steps to move my family forward. Changing lives everywhere I go. Making connections to get keys to open new doors. I'm a millionaire, right? So changing lives everywhere I go. Like I told y'all, I will always be the best energy in every room I'm in, point blank period. You won't out-energy me. You can try, but you're going to be drained. I'm just letting you know, you're going to be tired at the end of the day trying to keep up with this. But I bring good energy everywhere I go, right? And making connections to get keys to open new doors. Last story that I'm going to show y'all this principle, right? So making connections to get keys to open new doors. So I paid $5,000 to go to Coach Burt Coaching Summit, right? I meet an awesome guy there named Michael O'Donnell. Y'all know Michael O'D? Love it, love it. He love to say he's the #1 solar salesman in the nation. I love it. That's what happened when you speak words, when you speak life. I'm the #1 solar salesman in the nation. Nobody don't contest it. That's how everybody address him, too. Just like Muhammad Ali said, here's the greatest before here's the greatest. That's what everybody called him, right? So I go to this coaching summit. I meet Michael O'Donnell. I'm always branded up, you know what I mean? Roof hustles. That's why I got the $1 Million Hustle, right? So I meet him. I got the bow tie. He's like, dang, man, I like that. What that is? I'm like, oh, yeah. This Roof Hustles. I'm a door-to-door salesman. I coach and train in the industry. He's like, oh, man, I was just at Sam Taggart door-to-door event. I'm like, I love Sam Taggart. I'm like, matter of fact, next time I see Sam Taggart, I'm going to be on this podcast. He was like, okay, all right, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So we chopped it up. I go to RoofCon 2020, right? Pull up in there. I meet Steven. Y'all know Steven? Like Sam Taggart right here, man. Some of y'all do, some of y'all don't. So he like, what's up, Dashaun? I'm like, what's up? He's like, man, let me introduce you to Sam. I'm like, yeah, man. I go to Sam. What's up? Dab him up, Roman. Roman, right? Yeah, I dab him up. He's like, oh, man, I heard some things about you. He's like, what you represent? I'm like, I'm all about principles, right? So I'm big on principles because behind every principle is a promise. Behind your feelings is nothing. And most people knock doors with their feelings. If I feel good, I knock. If I don't feel good, I go home. Oh, it's mean homeowners in this neighborhood. Oh, let's get up. No, I'm principle-based, right? One of my 11 door-to-door roof commandments is if the door open, we keep talking. If the door open, we keep talking. Why? Because if the door open, they like you. You just ain't said nothing for them to make them take some action yet. Hey, man, I like that. You want to do a podcast? I'm like, yep, I'm down, right? So we do the podcast right there in that moment, right? So I spoke I was going to be on this podcast before I even seen him. First time I ever met Sam, he asked me to be on his podcast, right? So we go back there, we do the podcast. So it's like November. Y'all know how Door-to-Door Con 5, they do the industry awards and all that stuff right there. So they got like most improved company, biggest hustler of the year, most influential. I'm looking at all these things, and they got the biggest hustler one, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's a problem because my name ain't on there, right? You know what I mean? So I DM Sam. I'm like, hey, man, it's a problem. You got the biggest hustler. You don't got the biggest hustler on there. He was like, my bad, let me fix that. He called his people, was like, put my name on it. He was like, go win it. I'm like, say no more, right? So thanks to the awesome Roof Hustlers community, we won Biggest Hustler of the Year in 2020, right? We doubled it back. Thank you very much. We doubled it back, won Biggest Hustler of the Year in 2021, right? So we did it 2 years in a row. Sam just put on his big coaching summit, like in South Carolina earlier this year. I was the first roofer that he had come train at his event that wasn't part of his camp. So I was the first outside guy that he brought to come and train at one of his events, right? So it's pretty powerful. And then in 2018, right, it's this awesome guy named John DeRosa. He worked with a supply company, and he fly around the country, and he like do trainings for companies, right? So in 2018, he come to train my company. He going around the room. He like, how much you want to do? He like 1.2 million. How much you want to do? Like 1.3. He like, how much you want to do? Do like 1.5. He get to me. He like, man, how much you want to do? I said, I want to do what you do. He was like, huh? I like, yeah, I want to go around the country, and I want to coach and train companies like you do. And he was like, okay. I was like, just watch. So we was at a roofing conference last year. I'm at the bar ordering a drink. Dude tapped me on my shoulder. I turn around, it's him. He like, dang, man. I remember when you told me you was going to do this. I see your face all on social media. Like, you just doing it, man. I'm so proud of you. And I tell you that story, and I tell you about the success or the accolades. I want to ask you again, do you spend more time talking to yourself, or do you spend more time listening to yourself? Because the life I'm living, I've just been speaking it. I've been putting in the work, but I never doubted it. When I started Roof Hustles, they said, what you want to do, get YouTube money? No. I want to go to other roofing companies, coach and train their guys. That's what I do. I said the first time I meet Sam Taggart, I was going to be on his podcast. That's what happened. I told that dude I was going to go around the country and do what he do, and now I'm doing it. So I highly encourage y'all to start changing the story that you're telling yourself, because a lot of y'all speaking death on your life. Not literally like you gonna die, but you like, man, this ain't for me. Man, this ain't gonna work. Man, this just worked for Lee. This just worked for... I had it. Is it Elijah? God, let's go. Let's go, right? But a lot of people doubt themselves, and I'm looking at him sitting in the back of the room. He got a confidence to himself. I don't know what he do. He must be putting up good numbers, but he got a presence. I'm just being real. He got a presence, but that energy can feel energy, right? You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure he could look at me. He could tell if that dude faking or that dude 100, right? So I highly encourage y'all start changing the story that you're telling yourselves if you want to live a different life. Because this is the hardest pill for most people to swallow. But you at where you at right now in life because of you. It ain't nobody else to blame. Like, it ain't nobody else it ain't your mama, it ain't your daddy, it ain't your upbringing. It's because of you. My daddy died when I was 14. He wasn't in my life. I grew up in a single-parent home. I remember I was 6 years old, came home from school. All our stuff was on the curb. Now I'm 32 years old. The truth is never an excuse to fail. The truth is not a good enough reason to fail. So what? Nobody ain't teach you. So what if Lee wasn't a good trainer and didn't teach y'all nothing? That ain't your excuse for not to put up good numbers. Go out there and figure it out on your own. Right? So I highly encourage y'all to change the story. Y'all tell yourself, I got one last principle for y'all and then I'm done, right? Because I don't want to take up y'all day, right? So don't get me wrong. I got a bunch of stuff. Like, we can keep going, you know what I mean? Right? But I want to teach y'all something, right? It's called the law of advancement. The law of advancement. What does that mean? The law of advancement means everything in life must go down before it comes up. Period. Some of y'all just want to take off and, life don't work like that. Right? Everything in life must go down before it come up. So and once you start learning to live by principles, life get easier. God has put a certain amount of principles that govern this world. And when you learn to live by them, life get easier. Right? You reap what you sow. That is not a lie. Some of y'all got bad things happening in your life. You've been sowing that. Somewhere in your life you have, whether you're aware of it or not, right? So law of advancement, everything in life must go down before it come up, right? A lot of people challenge me on that. They're like, that ain't true. I'm like, all right, bet. When you plant a seed, which way it grow? Got to get rooted first. Then it grow up, right? You build a house. How you got to build a house? Foundationally down, right? Then you build it up. It's some amazing architects in California, right? But when the mudslides come, what happened? Them houses fall. Because God said, I don't care how awesome of an architect you are. If you don't abide by these principles, there's consequences, right? So that's the law of advancement. Everything in life must go down to come up, right? So I'm going to teach y'all a story how eagles learn how to fly, right? I know that might look like broccoli, but that's a tree right there. You know what I mean? It's a nice tree. It's a beautiful tree, too, right? So this story how baby eagles learn how to fly, right? So it's this mama eagle. She got 3 baby eagles, and they fly. Mama eagle flying, and they're like, Mama, I want to learn how to fly, right? So she's like, you know what, baby, I'm going to teach y'all how to fly, right? Next day come, Mama take baby eagle, put it on her back, take him up in the sky. Baby eagle loving it. He like smiling. She gets to the top. She just turn around, drop him, right? And he was falling. And as he falling, right before he hit the ground, Mama eagle scoop him up, put him back in the nest, right? He comes to the nest. He say, hey, don't ask Mama to learn how to fly. Like, she crazy. Like, do not trust her, right? Second baby eagle, like, nah, I got this. I'm going to figure this out, right? Mama eagle throw him on her back. Same thing. Take him up there. He up there loving it. She get up there. Same thing to him. Turn around. Drop him. And he falling too. And as he falling about to hit the ground because he couldn't get it, Mama eagle just scooped him up, put him back in the nest, right? He come back to the nest. He the same thing. He like, hey, he wasn't lying. Mama is crazy. Do not do it, right? Last eagle like, I'm going to figure this out, right? So Mama eagle do the same thing to him. She pick him up there. She flying. He on the back. He loving it. And she turn around and drop him, right? And he falling. But this one was different, right? He realized he was an eagle. So as he was falling. He like spread his little eagle wings at the last minute. Wind got up on him. And he said, whoosh. And he took off and he started soaring, right? And this right here, this called the learning curve. But what's the issue? Most people are not afraid of falling. They're just afraid of hitting the ground. So when they're in that uncomfortable space and you knocking doors, you've been doing this for a month and a half, 2 months, you ain't see the money that Lee said you can make, you're like, no, let me go back and get a regular job, man. That feels more better right there. No, I want to go right there, right? You know what I mean? Or you're like, no, they got benefits, right? Y'all done heard that one? Y'all done heard that one before? They got benefits. I said, when a benefit pay your bill, let me know. I ain't never been able to call my electric company and say, listen, bro, I got these benefits. You know what I mean? All right. So, or they just say, no, man. And I tell people, most people live their life in the nest for the rest of their life. It's a few of y'all that's blessed. And I'm assuming if you're in this room, you either one or two things, you falling and you enjoying this learning curve and you about to explode, or you already done figured that out and you soaring like an eagle that you meant to be, right? And I always tell people, the top is not crowded. It is plenty of room up here. We waiting for y'all to spread y'all wings and fly like the eagles that you meant to be. But a lot of y'all still stuck in the nest. You're afraid to jump. You worry about like, what if it don't work? And I tell people, You already know what that life look like if it don't work. You've been doing that for 10 years, 12 years before you came here. So the cool thing about it, if it don't work, you know what it looked like already, but you don't know what it looked like if it does work. And when I got this opportunity, I just jumped into it and ran. My kids, the mom said, you got a month to make some money or you need to find a real job. And we 7 years into this thing, going into 8. And the thing that I learned over the last 2 years, there ain't no such thing as a real job. Because everybody that thought they had one, they in the door-to-door industry. Because they serving wasn't working no more. You know what I mean? Something went and they all came over here, right? So I just want y'all to embrace this uncomfortable season that some of y'all may be going into. Some of y'all might be fairly new and you like, man, what is they? Just embrace the learning curve. You done did it in every aspect of your life. When you learn how to ride a bike, you went through it. When you learn how to color, you went through it. You couldn't draw on the lines when you first started. Some of y'all can, like small percentage of us. My brother was that guy, not your boy. You know what I mean? But embrace the learning curve, right? Because that's where the growth is. That's where the ascension takes place. Like that's where you really tap into that next level and be the best version of you. But now you're an adult and you care so much about what other people think. Because when you was younger, you would mess up 100 times and keep doing it. Now people looking at you like, man, that ain't a good idea. You going full commission. Like my cousin was talking the other day. He's like, bro, I remember when you told me you was going to sell roofs. I was like, what? You full commission? Like, what? And I was like, I'm all in. And now we 8 years later, and now my homies be like, what's a good book to read? Hey, man, put me up on game. Hey, man, I'm so proud of you. Da-da-da-da-da. And I always tell people, is somebody watching you and you don't know it? And you got to show them what success look like. You got to show them what it looked like when you go all in. It's your job to make a lot of money. You know the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad? You know the part they leave off about Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Everybody talk about the financial literacy, all that stuff. You know the biggest thing that stood out to me? He didn't want to hang around his daddy. I'm being real. He wanted to hang around his homie Rich Daddy. That's who he wanted to be around. That's who taught him about life because he looked at his daddy like, my daddy broke. He don't got the right mindset. I don't want to hang around my daddy. I'm trying to make sure my son want to hang around me. I'm trying to make sure my son, when he learn, he want to come to me and get that information. So that's why it's your job to embrace that learning curve and tap into the best version of you and explode this thing up. Y'all should be the #1 team in legacy across the nation. They should be fearing Las Vegas. All right? So I just want to let y'all know, greatness isn't for the chosen few. It's for the few who choose. So from this day moving forward, just make a decision to be great. Lee ain't no better than me. Lee ain't no better than you. He ain't no better than me. I ain't no better than him. Elijah, we just made a decision. Some of y'all still on the fence. Just make a decision to be great. And I promise you, from that day moving forward, you will not be disappointed. You know, but it's my honor, my privilege, my pleasure to rock out y'all for these 45 minutes. I've been having to calm myself down because I'm telling you, I'll go for like 2 hours, right? You know what I mean? But like I always tell everybody, man, hustle hard, hustle smart, and don't be afraid to bogart. I appreciate y'all.